everyone. It is Zoo Week, and each of your teachers are choosing a zoo animal that they want to teach you more about. And I chose flamingos. I think flamingos are a really neat, cool, and pretty animal. I really like their pink color and their curvy neck. I just think they're a neat animal. But if you know me, then you know that I do not like birds. So you might be surprised that I chose a bird as my zoo animal to teach you. But I think they're really neat. So before I start and tell you information about a flamingo, I wanted to tell you about 3 words that you'll probably hear this week as your teachers, as we are teaching you about some zoo animals. And that those 3 words are carnivore, herbivore, and omnivore. And you may have heard those words before referring to animals. And so a carnivore is an animal that eats meat. An herbivore is an animal that eats plants. And an omnivore is an animal that eats meat and plants. So they eat plants and animals. So you'll need to know those 3 words as we start teaching you about these zoo animals. So flamingos, you can see those at the zoo, and they are at the Nashville Zoo. I wish so much that we could go to the Nashville Zoo. That's always a fun field trip that we go on. Since we can't go as a group together, we wanted to teach you about some of the animals that you could see there and share some videos of some live animals at some of the local zoos around the country in America. So if you checked out the Cincinnati Zoo website, that's a really great place to go to. It has lots of animals, and they are doing a live video each day. So try to check that out. It's really neat. I watched the one about flamingos, and I hope you will too. So let's get started. I'm going to teach you about some facts for flamingos. First of all, I'm going to tell you about where they live. Flamingos live in warm areas, and they wade in lakes and rivers. And wade just means that they get in the water, but they don't put their whole body in the water. They usually just stand in the water about up to their knees, probably. So they are in South America and Africa and in the Caribbean. Those are all warm tropical climates. They can live to be 50 years old or up to 60. And that's a really long time for an animal out in the wild. They also like to gather together in large groups of thousands of flamingos. That is a lot of flamingos in one group together. So they like to stay in large groups. Next up, I'm going to tell you about what they look like. They have this pink color, and different species of flamingos are different shades of pink. So some are a brighter color and some are a lighter pink color like this one. So they actually do not start out as pink when they are chicks though. When they first hatch out of their egg, they are a grayish white color. And they will stay gray or white, that grayish white color, until they are almost 2 years old. Then they will get to this pink color. And they get that pink color from things that they eat. I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. But some other things that they look like, they have this long bill, and it's curved, and they have a curvy neck, looks like an S. And they have a small body, but then they have these long, thin legs. They stand on those long, thin legs. It almost looks like they could break very easily. And actually, something you should know about their legs is this is their ankle. It's actually not their knee. So when they're wading in the water, they probably wade up almost to their body, but they don't put their whole body in the water. So this is their ankle, and this whole part is their foot. So think about how your ankle is. It connects your leg to your foot. So this part would be its leg. Here's its ankle, and then here's the foot. So that's a very interesting thing to know about flamingos. Also, something else you should know about flamingos is that their bills have bristles on them. So these little pokey things on the end of their bill there, and it helps them to dig in the water, and they actually suck up the water through their bill, and they will pick out little bugs, little small insects, and little pieces of algae and eat it, and then they will get rid of the water. So they use their body in very useful ways. So, what flamingos eat is mainly shrimp or krill, and that's part of how they get their pink color. Shrimp has beta carotene in it, and also some other insects and plants have beta carotene, and that's how they get their pink color. So they also eat insects and algae and plankton, and that all comes from the water in the lakes and the rivers where they stay. And some other fun things that I thought was very interesting about flamingos is that they are great flyers. They can fly and they actually migrate. So when the weather starts getting cooler where they live, they will migrate and fly to a warmer area. So they're very good flyers, and they're very good swimmers also. And since they live in the water, they also build their nests right there in the water, in the shallow water, out of mud. So usually they have one egg at a time, and the mom and dad flamingo will both take turns sitting on the egg and waiting for it to hatch. Once the egg hatches, the mom and the dad also take turns feeding it. So it's a team effort taking care of that new baby chick. And like I said earlier, once the chick hatches, it is a gray color as a baby. And after about 2 years, it will turn that pretty pink color. I think that is all I wanted to tell you about flamingos. If you see this is my flamingo drawing I have here. You guys are familiar with the directed drawings, and I'm going to share the link for the directed drawing video for this flamingo. It was very simple. So I want you to try to do the flamingo directed drawing, and also write a sentence about something you learned about flamingos. What did you think was really interesting about flamingos that you learned from this lesson today? So I hope you will watch the Cincinnati Zoo video about flamingos. It tells you some more information about flamingos, and that you'll do the directed drawing. I hope you enjoyed learning about flamingos, and I hope that you like them as well. I think they're really cool. Take care.